like a very strong team a couple of seasons back. But at this point in time, even in the previous season, the casters have been talking about how they are not quite as performing, or they are not performing as well as they did in the spring season.
Yeah, Elite 8 seem to have been slightly on the decline after that victory 2 seasons ago. But they've never really gone too poorly. They always get into the semi-finals at least most weeks, and they'll be certainly fighting for the top 4. I think we are heading into the draft for the first game. I'm definitely excited to see what Elite 8 are going to decide to ban. Lance is obviously what they banned an awful lot in their first couple of games today.
Yep, I mean, Lance would be the better ban throughout. If you are trying to remove a captain from the game itself, Lance is quite suitable, but coming in as first ban, I don't think that is quite needed. All in all, maybe you can remove that glaive, if not, then a mage, in which they did.
Yeah, they're going to get rid of the Celeste, so Scarf is the obvious second man here. Yep, it's if I'm doing half my... Obviously, Lance they're going to pick up. I was expecting Grace, but obviously with Elite 8 banning Lance in most games, they don't want to get away, so they feel they have to prioritise keeping Lance, so that they either play him or because they're not banning it. And now, obviously, you think Glaive is the win condition for both teams. So what do you think of a Glaive first pick here? Is good flexible as a captain or mostly as a weapon power lane or jungler?
I mean, at this point in time, we don't see quite a lot of utility glaive or roam glaive, but we will be seeing a Finn being picked up by the side of J3X Inferno. Finn, we saw played in the previous game, and it's almost unkillable, or rather, it's so difficult to shred through the fortified health that Finn provides with polite company, and that is one thing that teams have to keep in mind, and also Force Accord as well. Although it's not one of the very reliable CCs, all in all, because it's easily blocked, but Finn can think of building the Now Wave Gauntlet, if not, then at least the Echo.
Yeah, definitely. I think Finn, it worked last game without an Echo. I always think if you're going to play Finn, then you should have a composition around that. Maybe somebody who works really well with bursting, but has a hard skill shot to aim, and so you should be getting an Echo and just making sure that second pull lands. You burst whoever you need to. What do you think of that? What do you make of that Adagio ban? It's very odd. We don't see a ton of Adagio play. We've seen it once today, and I don't think at all yesterday. Do you think that's a target ban?
Well, I personally do not think that it is a target ban coming in, but J3X Inferno, the only reason they won challenge battles and got to where they are today was because of a weapon Adagio. So, but I'm not sure, maybe it is something that E8 wants, or rather Adagio threatens their comp somehow and they want to remove it, but I don't think Adagio for the side of J3X Inferno would be a threat at all, especially if they are thinking of picking, you know, the Castrol up, which can just bully Adagio in that of the early game, all in all. But I'm quite surprised that J3X, you know, picking up the Castrol did not want to go for that glaive. And what do you think, Mini?
Yeah, I am surprised, as you said, that Glaive has been let through, diving, and how good he is at healing for a hyper carry as well. So he works in both situations. Petal was not expected. It's actually a really good pick, though. Petal's fantastic against Sky and Kestrel. So I think, obviously, there's a slight problem with Petal occasionally with targeting, but I think this is going to work really well. I like the Petal pick.
Yep, I must agree with you. Petal, although it is kind of hit and miss as a pick, and you really have to push your early game advantage for Petal to work really, really well because of how her damage just falls off so hard in the early game, even with 3 damage items. So as long as J3X Inferno can really just push your early game advantage, and since Sky would have a hard time as well targeting Petal, especially with all the minions in front, and not to forget the Petal bug, the infamous Petal bug, in which how hard you try to just tap on Petal, you can never attack that little jumping thing.
It was decided that there is a slight bug with Petal that's going to be fixed soon, but it's not big enough to make Petal bannable in all games, because really it only ever happens if the Munions are standing on top of Petal. And let's be honest, if that's happening, Petal's not doing any damage, so it doesn't really matter. Definitely. In a team fight, that's never going to happen, especially against a double poke comp like this. I think the Kestrel can do... The reason why Petal falls off late game as well is because once other people build their damage items, your Munions just get 1 or 2 shot by Kestrel. So I think if Kestrel goes for lots of attack speed, maybe we saw double tornado trigger, maybe a tornado trigger and a bone saw. Just lots of attack speed, try and kill those Munions as quickly as possible.
Do you know, I was thinking back, and maybe, just maybe, we might see a Weapon Petal. Maybe. Just maybe.
Weapon Petal lane and a CP Black.
Yeah, but
I suppose that is... Yes, you are correct, that is a possibility. However, if I was J3X, I would not be comfortable enough playing Weapon Petal up against Elite 8. I know they are a strong team, and they've shown to be a strong team. I don't think they're Weapon Petal strong enough quite yet. I think they need to play CP, snowball this guy early on in the jungle, and Blackfeather just needs to dive in on Kestrel. They need to do a lot of ganks before Kestrel gets her level 6 available. So before Kestrel gets her instant invisibility available, and then Petal's just kind of good at showing you where Kestrel is, but you're still going to get stunned and going to get bursted very quickly.
Definitely. So that is one thing that the entirety of Elite 8 has to watch out for, and that is a possible snowball that Petal can bring to the table. And on top of that as well, with Finn, or rather Kahlua on that Finn, it means extra tankiness for the entirety of J3X Inferno. Thank you for that awesome analysis, Minimizer. But casting this game and talking more about this game is I Request a Duel.
Hello, Luxuria. It's good to be here in the third matchup for today. The third place matchup, I should say, between Elite 8 and J3X Inferno. And, you know, I'm always hyped to see a Sky. However, I'm sure you noticed I was worried as soon as I saw that counter pick of Petal. So I'm worried about how this is going to work out for them. If they can clear the Munions out fast enough with the help of Hanyego on this weapon-powered Kestrel, then they might have a chance, but Petal just rarely counters Sky, and it's quite tough to deal with, even when you're just trying to position yourself around, because those Munions will automatically follow you. It's not too hard to counter Sky when playing Petal, although I would think so. I've never played Petal, I would not touch that, but that's my own opinion.
Okay, let's be honest. Petal, it's very similar, or rather, is basically the Teemo or Vainglory, but I'll just hold my thought.
Ooh, massive damage coming out early game from Hanyegas with those Glimmer shots, but they're going to have to hold off just a second if they want to get the reset on them. Currently trying to get farm, but might be safer just waiting now, especially in the early game when you could do a lot of damage here. Hanyegas needs to wait and get the reset on those Glimmer shots. Meanwhile, we see Official Hind dancing around here. It's a 3v2 situation up in lane as Naibimbim had to go back to base and already picking up triple Crystal Bit with a Swift Shooter.
Yep, there you go. So Naibimbim going for the Petal, and we saw a lot of lane pressure as well earlier on when the wave was an advantage of that of the red team, or rather J3X Inferno. They popped a minion candy and of course tried their best to put as much pressure in that of lane. Kahlua suffered a lot of damage from that, but all in all it was fine. And I'm quite glad to actually see J3X Inferno just working the advantage all in all because of the Petal, because of, like I said earlier on, Petal falls out so hard in the late game, it's not even funny. So at this point in time, what Petal really needs to do, or rather Naibimbim needs to do, is just try to put as much pressure, try to steal as much farm, and from there, hopefully they can snowball this match. But however, though, we have Sky and Hunter. Oh.
Yep, we see that it's going to be if poke down on Official Pine there from them, but good of the Gifian anime taking way and ability being used there to get around with that Surrey Strike, trying to land some of the forward barrage onto Baby, but right now It's just a bit of early trade damage, no real confirms. Of course, the Lance has the hard CC there, but it's not going to affect Kahlua, who's just going to shrug that off. However, taking a fair bit of damage from Hanyegas. Now let's look over to the jungle here as we see Official Hein trying to move in, trying to steal something, but it's going to have to back out away from that one. It's been not going to be able to find anything here. So in the early game, you know, it's surprising we haven't seen any early first bloods just yet, but a fair bit of trading with damage so far has gone on, and Anime Save Me just fighting with Kahlua, a bit pointless right now. Does need to be careful, however, as we see Naibimbim on this pedal getting a bit more built up now, has that heavy prism as well as the double shots, and I think it's going to be a fairly similar comp between the Sky, or fairly similar build I should say, with Sky and Pedal both really focusing on that damage and not so much on defense. However, in the case of J3X Inferno, as long as they're close enough to Kahlua on that Finn, they're going to be able to get that polite company for a bit extra defense.
Well, yeah, and there is one thing I must point out as well, and that being the SE skin for Petal. I personally think I prefer the LE skin. Only reason is because she looks like an onion. So there you go, the fight is breaking out.
And as the fight is breaking out, the pause screen comes up for whatever reason. Hopefully we're going to be able to get back into it nice and smoothly. It's not going to be any advantage to either team, and they're able to back away from that one without really trading over any depths. However, it looks like Baby may be having some connection issues there back behind the turret, and this could be dangerous for the side of J3X Inferno. But right now, Naibimbim doing a good job of holding up the fort and keeping turret alive. Baby has come back and hopefully resolved whatever issues were there. And yeah, I mean, if we're looking at skins, this is a game where Anime Save Me and the Lance skin, it's got to be one of my favorite skins in the game, and I don't even play Lance, but when I do, I'm just so happy to be using that skin. And then on the new side of things, we've got Kahlua with that Finn Bakuto skin, and that is looking just massive. Is it just me, or is the model size bigger than usual?
Well, it is big, like I assure you it is big. But then again, because of the animation and the load-up time, it kind of feels very, very sluggish. But all in all, I really, really like Bakuto Finn. That is one thing that, you know, encourages me to play Finn. Have a lot of damage being exchanged for both teams.
Yeah, Naibimbim taking a fair bit there. You can see the hectic attack being used on the side of J3X Inferno, and there's actually give you a bit out of the way of that one-shot one-kill. However, Death from above might be able to be enough to finish off, and there's going to be the first blood going over to the side of Elite 8 as Kestrel picks it up, and you can see right now Weapon Power Kestrel, although Weapon Power doing so much damage with these Glimmer shots.
Yep, and one thing I must point out as well, it's although Petal seems like a logical pick and a decent pick all in all, but Anime Save Me on that Lance is just a very reliable check into that of Petal. Firstly, you can shoo the minions away. Secondly as well, you can just root Petal, put Petal on the spot, and you can take up and soak up a lot of damage because of the damage reduction. You receive a directional damage reduction you receive whenever you use, and you have to give the wall up at least. So that is one thing that the entirety of J3X have to realize.
Anime Save Me just getting jumped on by Baby. Meanwhile, Kahlua tanking up that turret, and they should be able to take it. So close. There we go. There's going to be the quibble to finish it off. Polite Company pulling Official Hein in, but Official Hein now stuck between Naibimbim and Kahlua, going to see what they can do here. However, it's actually Naibimbim running off from this one, and it's what you mentioned before, although Pedal would seem to be the logical pick, not really having too much of an impact in this game.
Well, maybe not logical, I'll not go as far as logical, but I guess it's a fun pick if you want to put it that way. But honestly, I don't understand why Petal is being picked up for, you know, Naibimbim. Ooh, that one-shot, one-kill though. But honestly, thinking about it, Ozo would have been, you know, it's on the table, a really good pick. Glaive is as well, so I'm quite lost as to why Petal was prioritized over the other heroes like that of even Taka. Taka is still on the table. Taka is available.
Oh, and there's the steal coming through by J3X Inferno on that gold mine, and a fight may pursue this one, but Elite 8 looking like they could back away because Anime Save Me only at half health there. Does manage to heal up a bit, however, after going through that base, and right now it's really J3X Inferno in a bad position by taking that early turret. Although they lost theirs first, they seem to have, I guess, this presence that when they're pushing in is a bit more, I would say, balanced because of the front line they have with Black Feather, and then you've got Pedal on the back line. In more cases, you will use Trampoline to get in there, but that is kind of how it fits a bit more. Meanwhile, on the side of Elite 8, although I love their team comp, there might not be as much balance there.
Well, balance-wise, I personally think the Elite 8's team comp is a lot better as compared, I mean, overall. Only reason being, if we look over to how Impunity was playing in their earlier matches, but Anime Save Me with that impel.
Yep, and we see Force the Core game blocked out, and they're now on the run, and it's going to be J3X Inferno trying to do what they can to get pushed back from that depth from above. Anime Save Me isn't done, going to use the Impale very aggressively, and they're putting down the active camo. Will they be able to catch anyone out? They managed to get Nibimbim on the back of that. Kahlua not going to get stunned up, however, because of the perk, and right now we see that both teams just looking for some trade damage here. Meanwhile, Sky has gone off to the jungle to do their own thing. I think especially with how much J3X Inferno is pushing up here, you don't want to leave your jungle unchecked and then hand over to the enemy. So good, I guess, retaliation from both teams there, and Elite 8 being able to back off from that one safely where it looked like they could be punished, especially if that Force Accord wasn't blocked. Because you get pulled into the range of this, I guess, the whole front line of Inferno, and it's kind of hard to escape, especially to run away from that Black Feather and the Munyon.
Yep, and on my earlier point, it's that the comp coming out from the side of Elite 8 just seems so much more balanced, in the sense where they have got a mage-like heroes in that of Castro. Yeah, that weapon Castro shoots and at a standstill, and they have got a very mobile hero. Ooh, another team fight breaking out, Kahlua.
Yes, it could be just that as we see the whole team of Elite 8 on the chase. Kahlua going very low, just another glimmer shot would almost do it, but there's going to be the fountain on the side of Inferno, and it looks like Baby going to get rooted, but there's no follow-up coming through from Elite 8, and they're just going to be left at a bit of a standstill once again, and now we see that on point will land from Baby. He's looking for the shortcut around the side, uses Rose Offensive to get in there, but Death from Above going to stun him up, and great mobility from Sky, able to position himself around. Meanwhile, Hunyeger's picking up the kill on Pell, and Lance picks up the kill onto Black Feather. Sky gonna finish it off for the ace. A whole team effort there by Elite 8 to get this second turret and start putting this game into a bit more momentum.
Very well played there, coming out from that of Anime Save Me, landing very crucial roots throughout that fight. I understand where Baby was coming from, seeing that Sky was low, tried to roll offensive in, but however, Death from Above, he was caught out in Death from Above. That way, Hunyeger was easily able to put out so much glimmer shots onto his face and into his face and just tore him open. That is really the bane at this point in time right now. Nibimbim on that battle, I'm not saying that, she's not a good pickup, but all in all, if you realize, it's just not as synergistic as compared, the team comp-wise, as compared to that of, say, Elite 8. Elite 8 has got a CCs, granted Kahlua has got hard CCs in terms of the Force Accord, and when he hits level 8, his Quibble will cause a team-wide stun if he lands on all three members of Elite 8. Problem with that is that it's easily blocked out, and because of how slow and how immobile Kahlua is, he just cannot keep up with his teammates in terms of Nibimbims and of course Baby, and that is quite an issue right now that I'm seeing from the previous team fight.
Well, in this case, Kahlua actually might have to wait for that a bit longer than they predicted. There's going to be the Crucible being used on the side of Elite 8. They're trying to get out there. Fountain used as well to keep Hunjägers alive. They need to be careful. Force the Court has been used, however, so that's not going to be a worry for the side of Elite 8. However, if they boost in there like Kalu is planning to, and Baby makes their way around on the backline, things could turn around very quickly. Hunjägers trying to find the kill on tonight. Then they get quibbled and taken down by the Rose Offensive by Black Feather, who's now moving onto Official Hein, trying to find the kill. Kalua going low as well. Meanwhile, Anime Save Me getting chased down by Night Bim Bim. It looks like Official Hein might be looking for a kill here. Wants to get the trade, but it's going to get too greedy. Gets taken down for the ace as Anime Save Me finally taken down by Night Bim Bim Bim. And Kalua actually didn't have the stun yet, even though hitting level 8 has put one of the points earlier on into the Polite Company instead. So it's going to have to wait one more level. However, J3X Inferno is still winning out that fight.
Yep, that fight, and the only reason I'm seeing from the team fight as to why J3X Inferno could have won, it's really just because Elite 8 was all over the place in that team fight. We have Hunjäger on the top right brush, and of course we have Official Hein there as well. Whereas Anime Save Me tried to come in with a flank, coming from the left side brush, and thus the entirety of J3X Inferno could easily just catch, the carries out, and that way isolate them from Anime Save Me, and thus able to score the ace for themselves. So that is one thing that we must note, is that they just work so much better as a team together. I mean, Elite 8 at least. As for J3X Inferno, they have to work as a team as well.
The damage coming out of that Kestrel onto the anchor. They take that one down instantly. Official High now going to be the target. Anime Save Me gets stunned up by that Quibble. Now hitting that level 9 has been overdriven. So they need to worry about that one. Force support already used, however, and there's going to be the turnaround by Hunjäger, simply taking out that pedal, but going low too. This Black Feather Baby just doing such a great job right now. Going to pick up the double kill. Anime Save Me dodging that one out for only a second. And how long can they stay alive? I'm not sure if they'll be able to escape the fate from, oh no, especially with, I believe, a combat roll into the wall. Was not able to get out of it, and Baby going to be able to pick up that kill. Doing a great job on this Black Feather at the moment.
I must say, J3X Inferno really capitalizing on all the small mistakes that Elite 8 are just causing and just doing at this point in time. Elite 8 just now, what happened then was Hunjäger on that Castro got caught out of position, and that allowed Kalua to actually got through with a 3-man or 2-man Quibble, or rather, Quibble, and that way stunning Hunjäger out. And afterwards, it just down to Official High to try to kite Baby away. And we all know how well Black Feather just do going up against Sky, especially Baby, who has been very comfortable on the Black Feather that we've seen so far. So that is one thing really that Elite 8 has to watch out for.
Baby just barely dodging out that Impale, or you could say Anime Save Me. Actually, there's going to be death from above, but Baby going to go right on, picks up the kill onto Kestrel, is looking for Anime Save Me next, but Official Hein finds him first and gets the trade out. And now it's going to be Anime Save Me uses the Impale to get over the wall, but will it be enough to find the safety of that Crystal Sentry, which is actually still incoming from their base? I didn't realize earlier after that previous team fight, we saw J3X Inferno actually clear that one out. And you can see, I would most disagree with you there. Black Feather is a counter to Sky and isn't. It's a bit of a skill matchup if the Black Feather misses those on points, but Baby has been doing a great job and very good use of the Rose Offensive, the timing there to when to go into the fight and really just apply that pressure. So in this situation, yes, Baby is doing a great job on Black Feather and really holding it together for the team of J3X Inferno. But when you look at this objective-wise, Elite 8 is still ahead here. They've taken down the anchor, and all it takes is one team fight and a Kraken. or just an ace. They might even have enough death timers but long enough death timers to push into the enemy base, because they definitely have the damage there on Hunjagers at the moment, who's got double Tyrant's Monocle, Sorrow Blade, and Tornado Trigger. But we'll have to see how this fight goes, as it looks like it's in favor of J3X Inferno here, as they get the Force to Court off, and they're going to go right onto Hunjagers, who's trying to find a way out, but isn't going to find anything there. Now leaving Official Hein and Anime Save Me on their own. Kahlua low on the back line. However, both Baby and Night Bim still very healthy on the front line, and this is looking tough. Official Hein doing what they can on Sky to try to get away from here, but Anime Save Me might get caught out here, as Baby made this sneaky rotation around the back. There's going to be death from above, but it's not going to be enough. Official Hein gets a kill at least
MVP
to Kahlua. And Crystal Century, yes, the MVP, keeping it strong for the team, getting Nibim so low, but Official Hein doesn't want to risk it, isn't going to go in for the biscuit, instead going back to base for a cup of tea, meets up with Kestrel, and they're going to regroup. And as I said, just one team fight to go in favor of Elite 8 could mean the game, whereas right now we see kills going over to the side of J3X Inferno, but no objectives.
Yeah, I mean, it is just down to Hunjager and his positioning. Half the time, or rather all the time, and the team fights that, you know, J3X Inferno really won out, it's really because they can go into the back lines, especially Baby on that Black Feather. Official Hein isn't exactly a threat to him. And what Baby is really doing is just going into the back lines, removing Hunjager, taking Hunjager out almost immediately, just blasting him down, and then afterwards settle for Official Hein if that's possible. So that is one thing that, you know, J3X Inferno have to realize, that although you can kill and you can win team fights, but if you are not translating all of it into objectives taking, and you're not capitalizing on every little advantage you are given by Elite 8, then Elite 8 will definitely win out the game, as long as they figure out where to put Hunjagers in team fights.
Yep, I agree with you there completely, that it's very that if really bring it back, and it's going to go either way just based on with whoever gets the next ace. And you want to see Anime Save Me misses the Impale. You really want to see him land it in a follow through by the rest of Elite 8, but instead the Force to Court is not going to get blocked. Hunjagers gets pulled in instantly, gets taken down, and you can see Baby all on top of that. An Official Hein with nowhere to run. Anime Save Me, the last one left alive, isn't going to be able to find the safety of anything at this point. Just gets taken down, double kill, going over to Baby, and they pick up the ace. They're moving on to the Kraken. This is at least what we want to see here, and what I said, whichever team gets an ace will start taking objectives. Luckily for J3X Inferno, they were able to, because if not, it really could have meant disaster and the game, or a match they've tried so hard in. And right now we see they're going to be able to take the Kraken, and meanwhile Night Bim pushing that lane up into the turret is going to put a bit of damage down there, and one shot, one kill going out, and I'm surprised they took so long to take that Kraken.
Well, I'm pretty sure that, you know, Dati or J3X Inferno really was waiting for Night Bim to return, or maybe the one-shot, one kill to be wasted for some odd reason. But all in all, I must say, Baby on this Black Feather really is a threat, and very target focused on it all. It's so much so that Anime Save Me should really just, you know, prioritize peeling for Hunjager at this point in time. They still have got this, because J3X's biggest weakness for them is they are unable to push.
Yep, and that time we do see that the Force to Court does get blocked out. However, it's only another 30 seconds until it's up, and right now Inferno just focusing on pushing this Kraken into the base, trying to get the most out of it. They want at least another turret from this, I could imagine, but they're going to back out of the base. They're respecting the possible damage, the possible comeback by Elite 8, and really right now they've just put themselves in an even position with Elite 8. One shot, one kill, going to come out, misses however, so no return there. And it's still back in that same position where they didn't push through enough with Kraken, or they weren't able to do enough with it. And now it's really, once again, one more team fight can spell the win for either team.
Well, maybe not one team fight, because like I said earlier on, it would be one or one more team fight if the entirety of J3X Inferno.
Well, you see Kalu on the backline getting hunted down by Hunyegas, who's going to jump in there with the active camo, manages to get the stun off, but gets blocked, however, and Baby going to be cleaning up around. We see Bim actually picking up one of those kills, and that pushed Elite 8 off once again. And you're right, as soon as Hunyegas falls down, it just all falls apart for the side of Elite 8. An official Hind left in the enemy jungle to die alone, going to go down. Anime Save Me, nothing they could do about that situation. Just going to have to go back to base, not give over the ace, and maybe even these teams have to wait up for another Kraken, or as you said, a full team wipe.
Yeah, I mean, J3X Inferno, they are basically just rinse and repeating. They are not making any innovation, or not innovation, but initiative to actually go push. And because, I mean, at the point in time where you are winning all of the team fights, you have a particular strategy on hand. Yes, and that is to win and then push for the win. However, for J3X Inferno, it is win team fights and just play passive and just do nothing. Right? I mean, look at the goal difference right now. It is clearly Elite 8 still has got the upper hand. Right? And J3X Inferno, once again, just dilly-dallying around, pussyfooting, going into fights, not really committing, although they are winning every single one of them. So that really would separate the good teams from the, or rather the pro teams from the good teams. Because at this point in time, Elite 8, if they can muster enough courage, put Hunyegas in a position where he is safe, like really, really safe, and of course, Anime Save Me to do whatever it takes to just appeal hard for Hunyegas, definitely they would win the team fight next.
Yeah, they need to really keep Hunyegas alive in that fight, block out the Forster Chord, and just focus on right now Hunyegas getting those hits onto the backline, onto Bim and Baby. Hopefully, maybe they could even pick up on the mistakes of J3X Inferno. But there's going to be amazing Impale going in. It could be the chance they needed. A great active camo is going to stun out Blackfeather, and they managed to pick up the kill. Now Sky dancing around, trying to find Petal for the final kill, as the rest of the team manages to clean up. And there's going to be the ace that Elite 8 were looking for. They're going to be able to just push into this enemy base, because this is why I said from 10 minutes back, Hunyegas had more than enough damage to deal with these turrets, and we see it now as it gets taken down in a few seconds. And they're going to go for the second one, followed through with the crystal. 13 seconds until Baby is even back up on the fold, and they're going to get that one finally at 25 minutes into this match.
You reckon Baby at this point in time would just go cry to Baby by Justin Bieber? But anyways, back to the game itself, and of course the post-match analysis, looking through everything, right? My point stands from the start. Yes, it's that J3X Inferno, if they can win team fights and they do not push, they allow E8 to just, just to go back to square one, put their strategies back together, and then afterwards, after they are committed, they go launch a team fight on you, you are going to lose. And that was my point exactly. J3X Inferno, they've got the kills. They just do not have the macro play to just push forward. But of course, to talk more about this match, more in-depth, we have Minimiter.
Thank you, Luxuria. That really was a fantastic game between 8 and J3X. Pretty much everything you said. J3X, they didn't get an early game lead around, it's in the very even, but then around the mid-game, around 12, 13 minutes in, they just started snowballing with the Petal and the Blackfeather, and I thought, okay, J3X, they're going to have this pretty simply, but then they just got kills and didn't do anything with it, and after they stopped trying to push objectives, you knew that, well, once this gets to late game, this is going to be an easy win for a Weapon Kestrel and a CP Sky, as opposed to Petal was going to fall off. Blackfeather got fully built really early on, and so he started falling off as well. and it was just, it was really reasonably easy at the end for Elite 8.
It is a very easy match for Elite 8 because at every single point in time, although J3X Inferno constantly has got the lead in kills, have never once actually gotten the lead in gold.
Yeah, pretty much. There was like, I think just before the Kraken died, they were almost ahead in gold after they got the turret gold, but the Kraken gold wasn't down. But yeah, apart from that, they were never ahead in gold. And if you've got a petal, you have to be ahead in gold. You have to be snowballing. Otherwise, they're going to get their full damage items and you're going to be useless in terms of damage.
Definitely, but all in all, I think it was just down to Han Jaeger's positioning in the entire team fight or the entire game itself. Han Jaeger kept being in positions or places that compromise his life, his safety, and altogether, once Han Jaeger goes down, then the entirety of Elite 8 just crumbles into nothingness.
Yeah, that is very true. I think Venegas was really the key point to that game. But coming into this second draft, what are you thinking? High priority again. Obviously, Glaive was not banned or picked, even though you said you thought the Glaive team was going to win. Do you think we might see Glaive in the second draft? Are you expecting very similar with a Lance again, Kestrel, probably the Majors being banned out?
I mean, it's quite obvious that the Lance is quite a good pick going into any game, and he synergizes so well with a lot of comps. Whereas for a Finn, although he is meta in 2.8, but he is not one of those roamers that you will settle for if you have a comp like that of J3X Inferno, because they want to go out, they want to be very dynamic in terms of the team fights, but because of a Finn at hand, they have to learn to fight around Finn, in which Petal doesn't want to do, Black Feather doesn't want to do. Black Feather wants to go in deep, Petal wants to just jump in and try to do as much damage as possible. So maybe Lance will be prioritized for that of J3X Inferno. If not, then Grace as well. We saw a lot of Grace or emphasis on Grace.
Yeah, the Finn didn't really work well in the last game also because, as you said, he's so slow, and you've got a Black Feather and a Petal who just want to dive in on the back. Finn has nothing to help you with that, whereas Lance, with the Impale, and Grace, with her Benediction, can just go in really aggressive, land some stuns, land some slows. But we are going to find out what's going to happen in the second game. Without further ado, we're going to head into the draft.
So now J3X Inferno on the side of blue, and of course, the Elite 8 on the side of red. So, like we said earlier on, now J3X has got the upper hand. They have got a first pick, they have got a first ban. So they can basically just remove that of, say, Castrol. Oh, they are going to remove Lance, which means they do not want to pick it for themselves. They don't want Elite 8 to have their hands on it.
Yeah, that is interesting. They've gone for the Lance first ban. Obviously, as a side can just straight up pick Lance. Maybe they want more emphasis on Grace, as you were talking about. I doubt they're going to go for the Finn, but you never know. They might decide that is that even though it didn't win for them, maybe the Petal was the problem, and they can stick with Finn. Maybe try and get a Mage, because obviously, if they want to, they could first pick a Celeste or Catherine. So Celeste or Scarf, but not Scarf anymore because that's just been banned. So a Celeste first pick would be all right. Obviously, you're leaving Black Feather open to counter you, but Scarf isn't there. So if you can just stall to late game, you'll be in a really good position.
Yep, Celeste would be a very good pick for the side of J3X Inferno now. I know Naibim, he plays a decent Celeste. He's quite comfortable on it as well. And there we have it. We have the Celeste being picked up first for the side of J3X Inferno. Whereas for the side of Elite 8 now, they have got quite an array of heroes, and I'm not surprised they go for the Black Feather. I mean, Black Feather just does so well going into Celeste, and you always risk, if you do not pick up Black Feather, you risk Black Feather going over to the enemy's side.
Yeah, when you're playing Celeste, you really don't want to be against the Black Feather play against. And the Idris ban doesn't that much. Expect a weapon Black Feather in lane against Celeste, because weapon Black Feather wants to get the items, so he needs to be put in lane. And so Idris is unlikely to be picked, but maybe they just thought, okay, they can play jungle Black Feather, we'd rather not give them the Idris. And obviously Grace is the next high priority captain, and so a nice flexible comp was picked up by Elite 8. And now J3X got a couple of options they could go. They could go with Kestrel Celeste comp, which works well for objective focus, but Blackfeather does very well against. Or they could just pick up their captain and then consider maybe a Jewel in the lane, because there aren't that many power players left. And I just knew it. And if they pick Catherine now, I've had enough. That's too much overpowered prediction. Because
Catherine.
basically you don't want to go a range laner, because then Blackfeather counters you, and Glaive, Idris, and Blackfeather are all off the table. So you have to go with the next best option, which is the East Asian meta of Jewel. Wow, what a pick!
There you go. So we do see a Jewel coming out for the side of J3X Inferno, and possibly the last pick can be that of Catherine. So you have the very old, very accountable triple stun comp right before they actually fix the Crucible, but they are going to settle for Baptiste, which I guess all in all is pretty decent. But like we mentioned about it earlier on, Baptiste receives slight changes made to his kit in terms of his damage output as a crystal carry, but in this case I'm sure J3X Inferno will want to run the Roam Baptiste. But the problem with Roam Baptiste is that you are so fragile as a roamer, and Grace is just so much more robust. You cannot stand in a duel against a Blackfeather, or in fact any other heroes out there. You have to try to land your Ording and then Bad Mojo to try to stop them or slow them, but that is about it. Your greatest kit would be that of your Fearsome Shade, but all in all, I personally do not think that Baptiste is a good pickup here. There is Catherine that's on the table, and in fact there is Arden as well.
And yeah, so I think the Baptiste pick is quite a good captain. Not the best, but maybe they just want extra CC. Catherine with the stun and the silence, maybe they think that the silence against Blackfeather isn't that important because he's going to be diving on Celeste anyway. He blocks the Celeste stun and then silence is pointless. But the fear to push Blackfeather away from Celeste could be much better. So that would make sense why they've gone for the Roam Baptiste. And we are seeing a Samuel. I think Samuel's a really good pick given how strong the mages are, how important all the mages are at the moment. With Celeste and Scarf being a high priority, Samuel is not seen as a stronger mage, but he still can put out almost as much poke as Celeste can.
Definitely, I would have to agree with you there. But one thing's for sure, it's that if Jewel is going to be placed in lane, then definitely, Samuel can just bully J3X in that early game, because we all know the early game spike with Samuel comes at level 2 as compared to Celeste. And of course, Samuel being so mobile in his Drifting Dark can just quite dodge out all of the Heliogenesis, if not then Core Collapses coming up from Celeste. So if the side of Elite 8 plays right, they can put a rather large amount of emphasis at a jungle, and of course then afterwards when Samuel gets to level 5 or 6 and move on to lane to try to pressurize the lane, then Elite 8 easily can close this game out.
Yeah, I definitely think that there's going to be a lot of early game aggression Samuel. That makes sense. That's how you're meant to play Samuel, not level 1. Level 1 is likely to be the Jewel Baptiste are just going to go aggressive. I think J3X are going to try and contest the Elder Tree and possibly the front heel as well. But after that, it's going to be Samuel trying to be aggressive against Celeste.
Yep, definitely I must agree with you on that. I mean, there is no denying how aggressive a Samuel, a Grace can be in that early game, and if they actually roam in 2, which means they just allow Blackfeather just farm in lane and they roam in 2, then there is really nothing much that Baptiste or even Celeste can do about them because of the reach that, Grace has, and of course the directional shield that Grace provides when she goes and lands the Benediction. So level 2 wise, a lot of CC is coming out throughout the boards, but of course the CCs wise, definitely J3X Inferno has got it in their pockets.
Yeah, certainly the triple CC at level 2 triple stun is going to be really interesting how they decide to use that one for level 2 invade as to go with the triple CC, or if they just decide to go for the lane ganks and try and stop Blackfeather from farming effectively until Blackfeather hits level 6. He's in an awful lot of trouble and will probably have a tough time farming up against all the CC that J3X have got.
Yeah, so what we are expecting is that a lot of lane aggression, a lot of aggression in general, and we saw that coming up from J3X Inferno as well in that previous game. But of course, thank you for the analysis, Minimizer. But to talk more about this game, I have the glorious I Request a Duel.
Hello, hello, and I am back here for this second matchup between J3X and Hey, thank you. And of course to you as well, Luxura, for going through that draft, which I was watching alongside you guys, and just thinking, many with the predictions on this duel. It's great to see something different as well, a very different team comp actually being put together by putting Batiste onto that roam pickup, which in general we just haven't seen much Batiste being played, especially this season as being quite new, but without a doubt, we're going to see Elite 8, Anime Save Me there on that Grace, trying to get an early aggressive stance into that fight, but not really going for it. They're leaving the rest of Hanyegas and Official Hein to just clear through this jungle slowly. I thought they'd try to maybe push for a bit more, but I've spoken a bit too soon as Anime Save Me returning back down to the fight. Kahlua not going to have that ordained up for this first fight, instead going for the bad mojo to start off with. So I'm a bit confused there if J3X want to really go ahead with the early CC that they have, but Baby going to be able to secure that mid-treant, however taking a lot of damage in return, and Kahlua is as well going to be the first blood going over to the side of Elite 8, and they're looking for Nibibim has to face them if they want to fight, because if they turn around they're going to be taken down instantly, and that is the case. Anime Save Me finding Baby up in this top rush. Hanyegas might be able to land it on point, especially with the slow coming up with Benediction. However, Anime Save Me doesn't have the Holy Nova just yet. Right now, Elite 8 is, I'm liking the look of them, to be honest. It's the team with the Grace and the team with the Black Feather, which we know is so strong. And Samuel, you know, he's been seeing around the backlines. Hasn't been played too much recently, but Grace right now is just so amazing to see.
Yeah, I actually thought that you meant that as a pun, as in Elite 8 has got the grace and composure and, you know, whatever good things that you're going to follow it up by, but in actual fact, you are actually just referring to the heroes, so, okay. But again, well, there you go, Grace once again in with the Benediction, Nibibim just getting away. Maybe not even getting away.
Anime Save Me, what was that? A bit of maybe understanding they don't have a and just a bit of a, they didn't buy the emotes, so they've got to go with the budget version.
Well, yeah, maybe that is what that was, but honestly, Elite 8, or rather this early game just seems so much like Elite 8, right, as compared to the previous game. In the previous game, they were playing so passively, they were playing so reserved, whereas in this game, they just want to put out there that they are Elite 8, they were the champions, and they are playing very, very well. But of course, granted, you know, although Minimizer and I have mentioned that the entirety of J3X Inferno has got more level 2 CCs overall, but Elite 8 is just playing so much better, and it just seems that Nibibim is just not very comfortable. Oh, Samuel.
Oh yeah, Samuel does get caught out there, and there's going to be the first kill for the side of J3X Inferno. They're able to pick that one up, and I think, you know, it shows that you still need to respect the CC, and especially without having that early, well, I take that back, I was going to say without having a flex block, but Official Hein already built that up, and you can see even Hanyegas looks like with that O-card Sing and Wait might be going for just that as well. Official Hein does not want to let them get away with taking the backs, however, is going to run into the Ordained and try to do that best to cut away from that one. Uses the reflex, but it's not going to be enough, and Nibibim going to be able to pick up a kill there, and this front placing, keeping them alive for so long. However, Kahlua now stuck in the 1v2 situation. There's the Holy Nova to knock them up, and they're going to be able to get the return kills there for the side of Elite 8. And right now, just a very, especially compared to what we saw previously, a very aggressive start to this game. And it's what you predicted. You said both teams looking to play very offensively just overall.
Yep, definitely. I mean, for the side of J3X Inferno, they can afford to be very aggressive because of the amount of CCs that they can put out in that early game. And for the side of Elite 8, they can be very aggressive. It's because of Grace and Samuel's damage in the early game. So CC versus damage-wise, definitely the CC will win out if you don't have the early flex block or you just cannot dodge out overall.
Anime Save Me need to be careful. Does get caught out more but gets blocked as they rush out of that situation. However, Rocket Jump on a fairly long cooldown. This could be the chance for Elite 8 to try push them back, because you see as soon as Night Bim Bim turns away from the fight, right now Official Hein on that Samuel is able to do a lot of damage, and there's going to be the early Oblivion going in, already hitting level 6, and helps them secure another kill and puts Kahlua very low in this situation as Elite 8 put the pressure up on lane.
Yep, there you go. So Elite 8 playing as they should be playing in that or previous game as of now, because, you know, with the amount of damage that they have, it would be a waste if they just played as passive as they were in the previous game. Oh, Jewel just got burned down.
Indeed, and that's the thing. If the side of J3X Inferno aren't the ones being the aggressors, and they aren't fully committing to a team fight, it really puts that Jewel in a dangerous position to try turn away from that kind of fight, because there's so much damage coming out, and Jewel, although seems really tanky on the front of it, and it's why I love playing weapon-powered Jewel, although if you're not able to be in that kind of position of comfort, it's really going to turn around and bite you in the back, like literally.
Yep, but honestly, the only reason you enjoy playing weapon-powered Jewel would be because that is your side chick to Sky.
The mecha chicks. Is that what we call them? Yep, there you go. Don't tell them. No, right, I'm sure if anyone watches any VG8 at all over the past year, I'm sure they've had a clear reminder every time Sky has been picked up that Sky is my favorite hero. Probably always will be, even after the slight nerfs, maybe. Although we've seen a fair bit of Sky this current autumn season, and to some success, some not so much. But I think it's just for more the skill cap has definitely been raised, and why people like me can't continue.
Well, yeah, true. Maybe that's the case. But back into this game, I must say, the entirety of J3X, or rather the entirety of Elite 8 at this point in time, can really just push the turret. But Baby on that Celeste, she's playing so well, able to clear lane so very fast, and just trying to stay on top of the team fights and on top of Elite 8, not allowing Elite 8 to push whatsoever, and of course figuring out that Elite 8 do not have the quickest clear speed of all game, but however Elite 8 will be relentless in their push and in their siege.
Yep, and we see that
what
now.
Was that?
Wow. Well, there's a random big red button being used, especially on weapon power. There isn't much you can use it for other than clearing farm or getting that very last hit, or maybe just style points to finish off the enemy that way. I'm not sure why Big Red Button was just used up into the lane. Maybe a bit of precaution, thinking that Elite 8, as you said, we're putting a lot of pressure onto the lane. Could have looked for engagement there, but right now, Anime Save Me doesn't want to use the Holy Nova just yet. Seeing it wait, uses a protector contract, trying to keep Hanyega's nice and healthy, as well as Official Hein up in this lane, but they need to be careful. Those Thunder Strikes and those Heliogenesis still doing a lot of damage. Anime Save Benediction turn around from the fearsome shade, however, and that is going to be the Solar Storm going through. Doesn't do too much damage though. Kahlua needs to be careful. Although he's the tank for the team, he seems to be tanking up a bit too much than he can take. However, it doesn't fall just quite. But you see right now, Elite 8 just decide, well, we're going to back away from this one for now. Official Hein is fairly low. However, they're going to let Inferno also escape. I'm surprised there that both teams, from such an early aggressive start, we're going into a bit more of a passive poke war, and I think it could even go on until maybe the mid-game, until Kraken's up, and we see a real objective to be taken on board.
Yeah, but that would be the issue, because it would be very similar to that of first game. And as we all know, Jewel, after she gets a couple of items, and Celeste, if she's going to go for the 4 items build, will hurt like a truck and will hit like a truck. And there is really no way, unless of course Hanjega have got an answer to go into the backlines, immediately removing Baby from all the the entirety of team fights. Problem with that is that Kalua with that Ordain is just so impactful coming in a lot of team fights. And like Minimizer said earlier on, the Fearsome Shade, if it hits Hanjäger has got two choices. Get feared out of position, if not, then burning one stack of that of a Rose Offensive to try to get into a better position.
Well, I think the real problem we're seeing here on the side of Elite, that Anime Save Me always using that that it's so crucial to hold on to that, but using it to just get Alba Ordained, there's so much other CC and maybe so much other more important CC that needs to be blocked, such as the Fearsome Shade, such as the Fearsome Shade, which we see used now onto Hanjäger to try to keep him off Baby, but it's not going to be enough as Hanjäger is able to turn around, get the kill, get the double kill, and Samuel on that backline was able to hunt down Nai Bim Bim meanwhile, and they're going to be able to just push through, push away Kalua. Not quite the ace, but they're going to be able to get a gold mine out of this one.
Yep, I realize for E8's play style, it's that they play very, very reserved until you jump onto them. And then the monster in them just comes up and tear you apart. Whereas that really shouldn't be the case. They should really be the aggressors. They have a 5,000 gold lead. They have got a lot of things that's going for them. The kill leads, they have got the damage, they have got, you know, certain soft CCs and even hard ones if you consider the knockup coming out from Grace, and of course the Oblivion, the Sleep coming out from Samuel as well. So they have got the damage, they have got the CCs, and they really need to just go in, take out the main target instead of waiting to be jumped on. Because if that of J3X Inferno can play this right, they getting jumped on will definitely be.
Well, Anime Save Me with the timing there on Benediction going in for and official Hein in the dark, trying to put some pressure down. However, the enemy turret of Inferno still hasn't taken anything, and there's going to be a Solar Storm just to add a bit more damage into the situation. Night Bim Bim going to have to use rocket jumps to get out there. It's a pretty messy fight as we see Oblivion drop down on the backline, and they're going to get forced back with the Fearsome Shade, but Hanjäger is not done. Going to be able to pick up a kill with the help of official Hein, and Anime Save Me using that divine intervention to keep him alive under turret for so long. And Elite 8 should be able to clear this wave and push in, taking the first turret of the game finally. And right there I was actually thinking, you know, it was so much going on in that fight that it could have turned around easily for Inferno if they had landed the important and crucial CC. They just need to work on chaining it.
Yep, I mean, definitely that would be the case, but like I said earlier on, if Elite 8 constantly wait to be jumped on, as long as the side of J3X Inferno finds the key way to just engage on you, then Elite 8 might lose because of how reserved they're playing, how little of aggression is actually coming out from the entirety of Elite 8. And it is just down to whether or not J3X Inferno can chain those CCs, the Ordain, introduce Rocket Leap, and possibly into that Fearsome Shade or even Threesome Shade if possible. Oh, Anime Save Me.
Anime Save Me going in with that Benediction into the Holy Nova, did manage to knock up Kalua and Night Bim Bim, but meanwhile Hanjäger was just on the backline, found Baby all alone, picked up the kill and the double for the ace, and that's going to be Elite 8 pushing on to the next turret, just winning fight after fight right now, and it's looking very good for them. And we talked about this earlier of how we were looking at Elite 8's team comp, and it just looks so much better, although on paper there's a lot of CC to work with, and that early CC that J3X Inferno had available to them, it's just the team comp that has Grace on it. A Grace and a Black Feather, which we see picked up so often, it works so well as an engaged comp, and Black Feather just able to find his way onto the backline. Even in that situation, they worked together even though they weren't going for the same targets. Anime Save Me went onto the front line and got Kalua and Night Bim Bim caught up. Meanwhile, it left Hanjäger free to go on and duel Baby alone.
Yep, there you go. So, you know, honestly, Elite 8 at this point in time, they have got the 6k gold lead. Anime Save Me going in once again.
Yeah, Anime Save Me, however, going to walk into the Ordained, and there's going to be Fearsome Shade actually pushing Hanjäger towards them, maybe not the direction you want to go for, and so much damage coming through from official Hind, and of Hunt Jaegers there as they go with the Drifting Dark and just all in another team fight in favor of Elite 8. They're just going to leave it A-Stop to do their work and turn their attention to the gold mine, trying to get this one before Kraken gets up. They may have enough damage to do this, but we'll just have to see.
6,
maybe a bit
5,
greedy.
4, 3, 2. Oh, there you
and
go.
they get the 400 gold, pushing that lead even further past the 10k point, 37.2k over to 27.3k. Right now, that Elite 8 just, I don't know what the side of Inferno can do to stop them.
Well, let's see. The side of Inferno can probably not just do that. They just launch a solar storm. But besides that, what J3X Inferno could have done should have been done like, say, I don't know, 7 minutes ago. That is a good time, yeah, 7 minutes ago. Once Baby on the Celeste got her levels, get her items, and immediately just go on and be the aggressors. And know that as long as they can chain the CCs together and not just be hesitant into going into team fights, they would probably win, because they obviously have got so much more burst as compared to the side of Elite 8. And on top of that as well, they have got so much CC as well. So as long as you're able to lock Hunt Jaeger down, and even then, in the early game, Anime Save Me has been burning and have been burning Crucibles to get out of Ordain. That can just easily be capitalized on, and yet we look over at J3X Inferno and they were just so passive about that, they didn't even want to go in, even after Anime Save Me burned that Crucible.
Yeah, and I agree with you there that really it's more about what they should have done rather than what they can do at this point, because Baby, for one thing, you can see has that coat of plates built up, and you should not be building that on a Celeste, but we'll have to hold that for maybe for the post-game as we see Hunt Jaegers diving onto the backline, finding Baby. There's going to be the Oblivion to put them to sleep, and it's going to get blocked out, but the damage will not, and they managed to pick up the Celeste and the Jewel. It's now going to be Elite 8 pushing onto this final turret, maybe being a bit greedy once again, but I said that before, and they managed to get the gold mine. They might just be up to finish this out here and now, but it looks like they're going to turn their attention around to the Kraken for this final turret. And yeah, going back to my point about, well, my point on your point of what you said on Baby and their build and what they should have done earlier of getting the items onto Baby is, yes, go for that full-on glass cannon offensive build. And of course, Hunt Jaegers is going to jump on you because he's playing Black Feather. It's obviously gonna happen no matter what. So what you then have to focus on is peeling for Baby. You have the CC in your kit and as your team, and it makes me wonder if J3X as a team or Baby isn't as confident in, you know, having that faith in their teammates to provide that CC and that peel for them to take care of this Black Feather.
I personally think it is just down to Nai Bim Bim and, you know, how comfortable he is on the Jewel. I do not want to say that because competition at this level, generally when you pick up a certain hero, you are and you will be very, very comfortable on that hero. But it just seems to me that, you know, Nai Bim Bim on this hero is just, Nai Bim Bim on Jewel is just not very comfortable. I wonder what E8 is plotting at this point in time. But honestly, like, to my point, I mean, we can tell just from the get-go, from the early, oh, there you go. E8, spectacular finish if they actually go in for the back door, but nope, they are not. They are just going to do the boring thing.
Nope, they are greedy for more kills. They're going to jump in there with Bennett. Crucible blocks out for Fearsome Shade, but Fearsome Shade's going to be Echo, comes in twice. But it's not going to be enough to stop Samuel on the backline in that Drifting Dark. Manages to pick up a double kill, looking for the triple. There's going to be the emo coming out by Anime Save Me, and I believe they gave that one over to Official High, and Hunt Jaegers stepping back from the fight for a bit. Aced up minion wave, not going to need it. Elite 8 pushing in for the final turret, and they should be up to secure this game within 20 minutes. 2 to 22 kills. Very well played by them, and you can see from a bit back that they had the, what we call the 10k gold lead, where it's very, very hard to come back from. So Elite 8 just very much in control of that match, and GG well played.
GG well played indeed, and at this point in time, I can safely say I Baby on the Celeste should probably just go cry to Baby by Justin Bieber. But of course, to break this match down more for us, we have Minimizer.
Thank you for that, Luxuria, and well played to 8.